Did you know that the average American buys 59 pieces of clothing every year? That's up from about 28 a year in the mid-1990s. And if you're anything like me, you could easily buy a lot more than that 59 a year. Why do we get so bored in our wardrobe? Why do we constantly feel like we need to buy more, and yet at the end of the day, we still have the same feeling of, I have nothing to wear? If that's where you are, don't worry. Been there, done that, and today we're going to be talking about several different ideas on how to build a capsule wardrobe that is fun and versatile. We're going to move past the overwhelm, the decision fatigue, and for me in particular, my love-hate relationship with patterns and texture. Anyone else? All right, welcome to my closet. This is my side, this is my husband's side, and we do not cross paths when possible. If you're starting with the right mindset, you will be successful.
Now remember, it's fun when we're positive and
No.
want to have fun.
No,
If we don't want to have fun, we won't.
The mindset piece all really starts with, why am I doing this? Why do I want to have less clothes? Why am I so overwhelmed when I walk into my closet? I have a few answers for that. I had a lot of decision fatigue. I'd wake up in the morning and over again, it was the same pattern of me taking a bunch of clothes out, never finding what I really wanted to wear, creating a massive pile of things, and then walking out of the room. Yeah, sure, I was dressed, but I wasn't really satisfied. I wasn't really happy in what I was wearing. How do we start decluttering? Well, that goes down to just doing it. And I know that doesn't sound like great advice. For me, it meant setting aside time where I could have an hour or two by myself. And it came down to taking this journey a little more seriously because I knew it was important and I knew it had to be done. And I wasn't fooling around anymore. I would turn on some music. I would make sure my daughter was either out of the house or perfectly happy with what she was doing for a while. And I would get my favorite beverage. It's the morning, so now we have coffee. And I would get to work. If you have ADHD like I do, or you just have problems with figuring out time and understanding how long things take you, then set a timer. But what you don't want to do is procrastinate, because thinking that something is overwhelming and challenging is going to stop your brain from wanting to do it, because anytime that our brain has to learn something new, we have to connect those little neurons in our brain. And if you remember anything about high school chemistry, it can be difficult. When we come back time and time again to declutter and organize our rooms, we will remember that this is something that can be fun, this is something that can be quick, and at the end of the day, this is something that is hugely beneficial to you. I overconsume clothes when I am unhappy with the way my body looks or feels. When you don't feel great in your skin, you tend to look for a solution, and usually that solution comes in the forms of clothes and shoes. And that is where I wanted to thank today's sponsor, which is Lumen. Lumen is the first metabolic coach. And so in the morning, it takes me less than 30 seconds to just breathe into this beautiful little device here, in and out. And it will tell me my flex score, which basically is just telling me how my body is using and burning fats and carbs, and if it's working efficiently, and helps you to know when you should be eating, when you should be exercising, should you eat more carbs before you start your exercise. I'm somebody who's used intermittent fasting, and I lost over 60 pounds from having my daughter. That being said, as we get older, our metabolisms change, and that's where I needed a little more help. Because little did I know, metabolism is at the heart of everything that is going on in our body. So if you want to know more, you can click on the description down below, and my code is going to be MinimalEase, and you can get 15% off your Lumen and hopefully start better understanding how your body is working. I just spilled coffee all over my face. So even with this protective cup, I still have a hard time finding my mouth. What I like to do is I have these 10 categories. The first one being any of my button-up or blouses. I like to have a few nicer shirts or even just layering shirts that I will wear throughout almost every season. And what I'm looking for as I'm pulling out my favorite blouses and button-ups is, are they something that I reach for often, and can I remember the last time that I even touched this item? Let's see if I can get over here. So what I want you to notice as you've now laid out all of your blouses onto your bed is, are they the right colors? Colors and patterns are one of the hardest things for us to figure out when we're creating a capsule wardrobe, because you don't have to go with the minimalist colors like the natural black and white and blues. But the problem is that if you pick too many, you just end up with the same problem of having a closet full of clothes that don't actually go together. And you won't have that morning where you wake up, put on one outfit, and walk out the door. Now, while I really like all of these blouses, there are a few things that I've noticed this winter that makes me question a few of my choices. So this first blouse, this like short sleeve, has this little ruchy bit in the front. I do like it, and I did really like it when I first got it, but now I swear it's not me. I'm not that tall. She shrank. So when I stand up, she's all right. But the second I start to lift my arms, and I could wear a shirt underneath it. I could, but I don't want to. That's not why I bought this blouse. So while you are going through your blouses and your tops, think about, is it really something that I enjoy wearing? Or is it always a bit of a hassle every time you wear it and you're kind of doing the whole like super tug, right? To keep it down. I'm not sure about this one. I did wear it last summer over my bathing suits. It's a maybe. And what I found for me works the best when I have a maybe item is I don't just throw it out. And I also don't just put it back. I'm gonna put this over in the other room in a closet that I call my maybe closet. And so in a month, if I haven't gone back for it or don't need it, I know I can get rid of it and let it go. This is a huge tip for all of my friends with ADHD, ADD, or you just have a hard time letting go of things. You do not have to have a yes or no answer right in that moment. Stop stressing yourself out about it, because that is telling your brain that this is something that's hard. And we don't want decluttering to be hard. We want you to go back over and over again to keep decluttering because it's a fun experience, not miserable. So now we have the maybe and we have the go. Let's just talk about these beauties, right? In my attempt to be more serious, let's talk about a well-fitted pair of jeans. The most unicorn item in our wardrobe, especially if you are not just straight up and down, you're probably gonna have a harder time finding the perfect pair of jeans. But what I've found is a few things are always true. You need to do the stretch test, which basically means you're going to touch your toes, make sure nothing's coming out the other end, and see, can I easily get back up? Ugh. Often I would pick jeans because they were in style. Now what I do is I pick jeans that I have liked over and over again. I have these beauties right here, which are my favorite flare Levi jeans, super stretch. And then I have a pair of straight leg jeans, easy peasy, and my old dark bootleg favorites, which are Levi brand as well. I've lucked out with them the way my body shape is. Levi's have done me well. When we stop picking the jeans that are just fashionable and we start thinking about our actual comfort level, jeans become something that are not just cute, but something that is versatile and useful. Okay, yay, we get to talk about my favorite things now, and that is finding a couple of useful semi-neutral sweaters that you can add into your wardrobe. Let's all say that we probably have an area in our closet where we could easily have way more than we need. And for me, that is sweaters. I love a good, soft, comfortable sweater in my life. If I am not careful, I can not only have way more than I could ever wear in a season, but I pick things based on their look as opposed to how they make my body feel. I think it was Joshua Fields Milburn that first made me think about this, because he was talking about how he has a rather large jacket collection for a minimalist. And that's really where I connected with what he was saying, that even as minimalists, you can have things that you really enjoy and you can have more of them. The problem is when we have way more than our threshold that we can't take care of, then even the things that we really enjoy, we tend not to use as much as we would like to, because we just have too much of everything. We have not mentioned any of our t-shirts and shirts. I have come to the realization that not only do I get bored when it comes to t-shirts, but I don't like wearing t-shirts that look super ratty. Quality and the price of the item when it comes to a t-shirt has to be balanced. I found that super high quality t-shirts, though sometimes do last longer, don't always when it comes to just a white t-shirt or a black t-shirt. You need to find a balance. I like to buy a lot of my t-shirts at thrift stores because I do find very often that people will get rid of their t-shirts and I find that they never wear them, or maybe they wore them once or twice because a lot of us have a lot of t-shirts and then we just don't wear them. I like to have a few white t-shirts. I have one that is tighter around the neck and then one that's a V-neck white t-shirt. And then what I like to have is a few variety of black. I have a black long sleeve. I have a looser one like the one I'm wearing. I have a V-neck black t-shirt and I have a white long sleeve shirt. If you can have a drawer or a basket that you can set as a limit, it's really helpful because as much as we love the one in, one out, if we are not visually seeing our clothes all of the time, we forget to do the one in, one out, or we will just start stuffing things in. Here's a few tips that I've learned about decluttering jackets. So I'm not sure why, but jackets have always been one of the hardest things for me to figure out what I like, don't like, and how to get rid of the extra. I think one, they're expensive, right? When we get a jacket, usually it's at least $40. It's the monetary problem we run into, right? I spent a lot of money on this item. I don't want to just give it away. It's worth something. How do we change that so that we don't need 10 to 15 jackets? Does it have a versatility that I actually need? Is it warm enough for my spring and fall? Does it have a hood on it if it often rains where I live? Or do I have a heavier jacket that can double as a winter coat and a rain jacket when necessary? Thinking about all your weather needs and then breaking your jackets down into categories to decide where they fit. And if you have jackets that meet more than one criteria, those are going to be the ones that you want to hang on to. The little black dress. Honestly, I can't stand this one. I am getting rid of this dress right now because I bought it again for a party I was going to and I didn't even wear it. So if dresses are your thing, just pick something you feel comfortable in. Pick something that goes with the other items in your wardrobe. And pro tip, pick a dress that you do not feel the urgent need to buy a new bra for, a new pair of underwear. Pick something that is going to fit in easily with what you already have. And so therefore you're going to reach into that closet and wear that dress a lot more often because it's easy. No, up here. Trousers is the next category and something that I have done a lot of soul searching with over the past couple of years. I'm just kidding, not really. But I have bought a lot of trousers in my day, and what I have found is that having more of them doesn't mean that I want to wear them anymore. What really matters is the color and the cut. The other thing that I've really noticed about pants is this. Nobody really notices them. And even when I would get compliments on my pants, I could wear them the next day and 0 people would even notice that I repeated an outfit. People aren't really paying attention to us as much as we think they are. If you are enjoying this and want to join us here on Minimalist, hit that subscribe button. And of course, if you have already been here with us decluttering and minimizing, then throw a heart emoji down below. It makes me smile. All right, so let's go downstairs because we have 2 things that I want to tell you about down there. Actually, we're gonna take this jacket with me and I can put it away. Yay! Those pair of shoes that you know you never wear and yet you have them, I want you to start thinking a little bit differently. For me, getting rid of all of my heels was very weird at first, but I knew I never wear them. I knew I never wore them. The last wedding I went to, I just borrowed my friend Jenny's shoes and it wasn't a big deal. You might have people in your community, friends that you could reach out to and ask them when you do have that need, but keeping them is not going to help you because, as we like to say here, our homes are not storage units. Keeping a pair of shoes for that one time you might wear them is not good enough for us anymore. So picking shoes that are the colors and the fits that are gonna work for almost all of your clothing. And having those waterproof pair of boots that you can wear snowboarding or sledding, but also to mow the grass. Thinking more of shoes as a useful tool as opposed to something that you just accumulate will help change your mindset. And for me, help me let go of a lot of shoes that I never really wanted. Let's talk about purses. So this next one, I have heard from several of you guys that you love your purse collections. And so if that's you, just skip on through to the next one because I love sweaters. So no judgment there. But when it comes to purses, I have two. And that is because I used to be a purse person, a PP. and now I realize there are a few reasons I don't need that many. I hate changing out my purses. I hate moving everything over. I often lose things because I am moving things over or don't have the right things that I need. Having one main purse that I use all of the time has been extremely helpful. And then the only other purse that I have is something my mom gave me. It's just like a little fanny pack, and I use it whenever we will go out camping or we're traveling because it's a little bit lighter and it's easier for me to carry on an airplane. Now, keeping one that is a color, a size that works for your everyday life will make your life so much easier. And even if you like to have a little bit more than just one or two, having one that you use constantly over and over again is going to mean that it's going to cut out that mishap of forgetting your things in your other purse. I recently left my favorite pair of hoops at my mom's house, and I haven't gone back to get them in, I think, 4 days. And while I do miss them and I'm gonna go get them back, it did help me remember that when we have too much jewelry, often we forget about it. We don't use it the way we should, and we hang on to jewelry so often just because it's there. It's expensive. Somebody gave it to us. We just have it, so we don't know what to do with it. But jewelry, where it is one of the harder things for me to get rid of, is one of the places I've got rid of the most over the years. And here's why. Because even though jewelry is little, right? It's not taking up a lot of room. It is taking up a lot of your mental capacity space if you have a ton that you aren't really enjoying or using. So think about the last time you wore a piece of jewelry. Pick out your favorite 2 or 3 pieces and just live with them for the next month or two and see if you even go back, like I haven't to my mom's. Have you gone back to look in the bag? Getting rid of anything can be very difficult when we put an undue amount of value on our things. And the book, Goodbye Things, I've recently finished listening to it for the second time. And in the book, the author talks about how we need to minimize becoming minimal. Stop dwelling on how much it cost you or who should I contact to get rid of our items. Just get rid of it. Think about it as a gift you're giving to a stranger. Somebody is going to really enjoy it when you just couldn't. And if you're looking to learn a little bit more today, then click on one of these videos right here, and I wish you guys all the very best.